All right, so now I think we're live. I'm gonna just double check to make sure that we're live. All right, let's see here.
Yeah, I'll just stop there's some music over there.
Okay, yeah, just so we don't get
Make sure there are no other
copyright.
noises.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. It looks like we're live. Let me double check. Okay, we're live. Let me. I'm gonna just share this link so I can have. I'm located in Arizona in the United States, so I'm gonna share this link with my people that I train with in Arizona, so they can jump in too.
Okay.
Yep. Let me let them know. Okay, so we're live right now, Plamen. And then when you need to do the training, you just do it, and I'll wait. So no worries.
Hello, it's okay. I mean, I can hear you very well. So uh, I'll just do some easy workout because today it's Sunday and usually it's a free day, but I need some workout so I can start the week properly.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk about your training. So first, I really appreciate you taking the time to do an interview with me. I know you're super busy, and
Yeah,
really
it's
means
okay, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it means a lot to me. So thank you again. So first, let's kind of start talking about like the beginning. When you got started and things like that. So, Plamen, how long have you been arm wrestling?
So it was like 2008. In 2007, I entered the same gym, but it was with different kinds of look back then.
Yeah.
Well, now it's a little bit of painted, new light bulbs and so on. But I was here like for only 1 week in 2007, and back then on the TV in Bulgaria, national TV, it was going wild, the
Yeah.
sport, arm wrestling. And even it was the world championship held here in the city next to us. It was in Veliko Târnovo. So back then, even on the late evening shows, Brzenk was guest.
Oh wow, you remember?
Michael Todd was here. Voivoda, all of those top athletes that our sports have. Actually, they came here in Bulgaria.
Wow.
So in 2007, it was. I only watched it on the TV, and it was super interesting for me because the internet was not like today's
Yeah.
internet, and mostly we watched TV back then. The people, I mean. And in 2008, when I started, maybe it was in the beginning of the year, like March, I think, and until now.
Wow. So
So
so I was gonna
around
ask you like who
17 years.
inspired so what is that, 220, was that 17 years you said?
70 years, something like this, yeah.
Okay. So on TV you saw John Brzenk, Michael Todd, arm wrestling. Is that what inspired you? Like you said, this looks interesting, let me find out more about it, or was it something that you were already kind of thinking about?
I was like 15 years old, and you know how it is at 15. You go in high school, and
Yeah.
on the tables you try with everyone to pull a little bit. It's interesting for you. I didn't even know that our city here and club have such good like history and such talented athletes that we actually have.
Yeah.
So I was interested before even knowing that there's a club in my city. And not only this, but It's the first club in Bulgaria is actually here from this city. So people around 1988, 89, they made the first club federation because it was not federation back then, it was club federation. And it was right here in this city. So
Okay.
when I started, I didn't know those things. I was like super much interested in the sport by itself. I didn't want to be like sportsman.
Yeah.
At 15, you know,
You just want to
your
go to school
interests,
and chase girls, right? When you're
yeah, your
15 years old.
interests are different. I didn't plan to stay in the sport for so long. So when I came here, there were plenty of guys. Um, maybe most of them, maybe the new arm wrestling society won't know them. But anyway, so they started to speak to me like, boy, you know that in the sports there is no money and
Right.
no girls.
There is
So if
no
you want
money.
money and girls, go over there, outside on the field,
Yeah.
and kick the ball, play soccer. I said, yeah, I'm not. Um, this is nice that you're telling me those things. So I just want to try the sport, you know, and to see how it is. And they said, okay, perfectly. And this is how I started. I didn't actually have someone that, um, I think now it's popular to have, you see how it is nowadays. Most of the people have seen already Warat, have seen someone. I didn't see anyone back then.
Yeah.
There were just the Bulgarian professional leagues, and there were only Bulgarians actually that I have seen before I enter in this club.
Yeah. Man, I mean, they told you the truth. I mean, that's what we
Yeah,
tell,
yeah.
even here, when somebody get wants to get into arm wrestling, and even me too. So I started 3 years ago, and that's the truth, man. Is they say, hey, there's no money in it.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna get injured, and
Yes, yes, yes.
you're gonna get
Exactly.
addicted to it because it takes over your life. You have to you have to train all the time. It's so much into it. And
And
like you said, there is no girls. There's nothing. It's just
no money, no
no
fame,
money.
nothing. Just for your own pleasure. You
Yeah,
can do it.
yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
the pain is like a bonus.
yeah, man. I
Danger
remember.
is in the pain is only a bonus to in additional to all the things.
Yeah, that's the bonus, the pain.
Yeah,
That's
it is
so
what it
funny.
is.
So when you started back in 2008, so when you first started, was there already like 5, 10 arm wrestlers there, or was it just maybe one or two? Like who like coached you in the beginning? Like who mentored you? Was it
Oh,
Svetan at that time?
no, no. Like Tsvetan was actually he had one business and he came to the gym like only from time to time. It was
Okay.
one guy. He still is visual disabled person. He cannot see. He's blind.
Yeah.
And actually, he's the first guy that when I came here, he was here. But to be honest, our gym is not so big. You can see it's not so big.
Yeah.
It's pretty small. And he was like watching you in the eyes, speaking to you, and he knew every part of the gym. And he when he goes and he wanna grab, for example, this handle,
Yes.
he doesn't hit his arm nowhere. I mean, he just grab it. I don't know he can see.
And he's blind. Yeah.
Yeah, he know perfectly well the whole placement of the weights, of the handles, of everything. So
Wow.
this is the first guy that I didn't even know that he's blind. You know.
Wow. And those of you that just joined us, Plamen right now is just doing some volume work. He's in the
Yeah,
gym and he's
just watching
grinding.
some
This is
watch
just
the body.
so let me ask you. So, Plamen, so like you said, there's no money in arm wrestling. There's no girls. There's really nothing. Even in our sport has gotten big over the last couple years with East versus West. Slowly and things like that. And reality, just so everybody knows, there really is no money unless you're at that top level of East versus West, then you're getting some money. So for you, what would you say is what's your favorite thing about arm wrestling? What's the reason you even do it?
So those reasons change during the years. I mean,
Yeah.
in the beginning was how to say, more like interest in the sport. In Bulgaria, the level is pretty high, to be honest. Back
Okay.
then, it was only one federation, not like today with two federations and those scraps. And back then, it's like, I don't know if you remember him, Georgi Gaidarjiev, if you know him. He was like, I don't know, more than 5, 6 times European and world champion.
Yeah.
He even held the Guinness World Record for one arm pull ups.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so actually, this guy was the guy that beat me in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
This guy was the guy that beat me. Back then, we used to pull at 70 kilos, and I
Okay.
was like, um, how to say, I wanted to do better to see if I can catch up with him because he was a top athlete. He
Yeah.
was very good. And those leagues in Bulgaria were very strong back then. I mean, they used to do like this professional arm wrestling league, but top eight competitors from Bulgaria, and each one pulls against each one. So in one competition, you have like seven super matches.
Okay.
It's very, very tough competition. In my eyes, it was super tough competitions, to be honest. They finished with this format years ago.
Yeah.
So during the years, first I wanted to catch up with some of the athletes. Then it was like I had this luck in 2009. The European Championship was in Sofia. So Tsvetan took me to this European Championship. I was junior back then, and I placed second on the left arm. On the right, I don't remember, maybe four, five, sixth place, something like
What
this.
what year was that? So when you placed second, you
In,
were a junior. What year was that? Because you started in 2009, right? 2008, nine.
in 2008. So
Okay.
this
What year?
European Championship was in 2009.
Oh, it took you 1 year to get that good to
Um,
compete in.
almost 2 years, yeah. But the first year in 2008, until the end of the year, I had like three, four competitions. Most of my friends
Yes.
became first in their classes. I couldn't even get a medal.
Because
I couldn't enter
they
in
were
top
high
three.
level, right? They,
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was high level, so I couldn't enter even at the top three. I mean, in the next year in 2009, I guess it was like more like my. Um, I started to see the results from the trainings in 2009. So then
So
I
in one
placed
year.
second, 1.5 year probably, yeah.
Okay.
But uh, I will tell you something more later. So after this, I was second, and I was furious at myself because I couldn't do the job properly. I couldn't win.
You couldn't do number one.
Yeah, I couldn't be number one, so I was missing something. I didn't do something correctly. I needed to improve, improve, improve. And after this, it was the Worlds in Italy in 2009. There I met Hermes for the first time. There I met him and many other guys. I couldn't get a medal in Italy, so I was fourth maybe or fifth. I don't remember. 2010, the same thing. Again, second place and third place, right and left arm. I couldn't get to first place.
Yeah.
So 2010 was my last year at juniors, and back then there weren't like those youth categories. I mean, youth category 21 years old, 23 years old, and so on. It was only juniors under 18 and senior men. Only this. So 2010, I finished with the juniors. at second place. And after this, my goal was just to become once European World Champion.
That's a big
And
goal.
yeah, it took me many years, to be
Yeah.
honest. Many years.
Yeah, so in the beginning, your inspiration, what inspired you was becoming number one. It was beating kind of the people that you trained with, which were already at a high level. So it sounds like that was like your first 5 years. Now, what would you say? Because you've been in the sport for 17 years. What would you say kind of inspires you over the last 5, 10 years? You said it changed. What inspires you now to continue?
Well, to be honest, I became like a European World Champion in the last years. I mean, 2019 and 2021. So I became those years European World Champion, and after this, there was a conflict in Bulgaria with the
Right. Yeah.
federations and so on. If well, everyone knows those things.
Yes.
So mm, maybe I was the one person who gets most demotivated from all of this because I lost
Yeah.
many friends.
Yeah.
In this
Politics.
conflict, I lost way too many friends, even sparring partners, and I missed so many competitions and so on because during the years I went everywhere. I mean, in whole Europe, we went to competitions. After the competitions, we went to drink and so on.
Yeah.
It was, it was like best days.
Yeah.
And so after this conflict, my idea was to stop a little bit to focus on myself and my preparation, and to start focusing on my club, on my juniors. Those
Nice.
are, yeah, part of my club, my team.
Yeah. So your team
So
is
I
what
think
what motivates you now. You coach them. You're their coach, and that's what motivates you now. Is that right?
more like a mentor, I would say.
Mentor. Okay.
Yeah, more like mentor. I'm not like the best example of a coach.
Okay.
But I think my juniors did pretty well because now we have to pull in info. We have to because of the scandal. I hope one day we can fix the things
Yeah.
and maybe we can put at WAF competitions. I mean, World Championships and European Championships, also the tournaments. So at the IFA championships, to be honest, I see that the level is not too bad, but it's not that high, like at uh, last years of WAF Worlds. Because last time when I competed was 2021. You had Russians, Georgians, Kazakhstans. I mean, and each country have two athletes that are top level athletes. To become first or second in Russia is maybe similar to become in top three at European Championship. I
Yeah.
don't know, to be honest. It was super high level back then. Now there are no Russians. Everyone knows the reason. But again, I think that at WAF World Championship, the level is maybe the highest. Like you
Yeah.
cannot compare it to other competition.
That
You
makes
have
sense.
to be you have to be strict. Yeah, at the refereeing, if you move little bit, they give you foul. If you get two fouls, two
Yeah.
years of training go in the trash.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
If you don't pay attention, if you're not 100% concentrated at the exact moment that you need to be concentrated, you lose all the trainings. Doesn't matter if you train for 10 years.
Yeah, those strict rules, in my opinion, and of course, WAF, IFA, they're both great organizations, but those strict rules, it's pretty difficult. In my opinion, I like the East versus West, rules a little bit more. Where you
Yeah,
can
but
have the micro fouls, and I mean those elbows too. They're a little bit, they're sometimes they're even a little bit off, but but they let it go. To me, it's better to watch. With
For everyone, it's
those
like
rules.
this. I mean, if we want to rule a sport, I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, Engin Terzi, Engin really played his cards well.
yeah,
He did his job great by giving the people what they need to see. But there's still to improve.
hundred
And in my
percent.
opinion, probably will never be uh, Olympic sport
Yeah, I don't
because
think so. Yeah,
because to be honest, maybe people don't want to see a final match winning by two fouls
yeah,
without a real game, without a
right.
real. Um, you watch more the referees than you watch the game.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm
That's
sure
true.
there is a way that we can fix those things, but everyone should be like in to have this personal engagement in those things. I mean, athletes, referees, clubs, everyone should
Yeah,
start
get
to.
everybody's feedback and
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and, and
This
just
is
have
this
one
is
rule
not
set
only.
for everybody.
I mean, this is not only something against the referees that they need to do better or something like this. It's also again, it's also about the athletes themselves, because many times when you watch competition and when they start like they are competing, everyone want to win.
Yeah.
But some athletes don't watch themselves; they watch the opponent. Foul, foul, give him foul.
Yes. Yes.
They do everything for the win.
Yeah. Knuckles. 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 Shoulder.
Yeah,
Shoulder.
people
Shoulder. And yeah.
people don't want to see those things.
Yeah.
They want to see like a game. Yeah, sometimes there really are bad callings, bad situations in fouls, but there's not so much sportsmanship those days. We we see more like everything for the win.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, Plamen. So you've been arm wrestling for 17 years now. Now let me ask you, like, something that I'm being curious about, like the training back in the day. Of course, is it different to this day? Because now with the internet, social media, we know, how the Russians are training, how the Americans are training. The pronator wasn't even, something that people knew about back in the day. Do you 17 years ago, or maybe even like 10 to 15 years ago, was your training different than it is now?
Today I don't train this much as before because I don't have the chance to pull at many competitions.
Okay.
Um, Mostly when I go to competition last 2 3 years is to just to take my team to competition and I just watch them. So basically back then there were many people who gave me advices about everything about the gaining strength period. I mean in lifting heavy weights and so on because I always back then I did this period without competitions, like winter periods, you know.
Yes.
So this is the time when I do more weights. I try to gain more strength. Then when I know I have competitions, I start doing more like table practices, more like sparring, more like training with rubber bands
Okay.
at the table and so on. So basically back then we had almost the same equipment in our gym like we have today. I didn't train specifically the pronator muscle,
Right,
to be
right.
honest. Everyone thinks I train it, but I didn't train it. I train mostly with the fat grips, like this type, rotating. I mean, when I grip it, I cannot like close my fingers, you see? And I always do like full move of the wrist. I let go until negative.
Oh, you're going negative. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Today, many people I see them they do like only halves.
Yeah,
They like
just a little bit.
when they when
Yeah,
they grip, they go like this and only pump.
yeah.
And I do like from here I even let go a little bit with on the tip of my fingers.
Right, you're training fingertips, fingers. Okay.
No, I mean I do like full move. The
Okay.
same is from the biceps curls. For example, I let go until my arm is stretched, then I curl. For example, so I didn't do so much with pronator lifts, pronator exercises. Then I did like those full moves from the negative point, not only pumping. Full move at each exercise. Also, I train with fat grips because I have very small arm. I
Okay.
mean, my fingers are not so long. I need to catch up with the other guys because each time in my weight category I was with the smallest arm.
Yeah.
And most of the people grip me until here, until
Right.
here, and
Yeah.
I grip them until here.
Yeah.
It's
I have the same problem. I have the
yeah,
same
it's
problem.
a big
Yeah.
problem. And they were like mutants against me. I'm
Yeah. They grab. Yeah. They grab
like a
everything
children.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Mine is the same. So let's get into. So that's my favorite part is the training. So let's get into the details of the training because that's the most important thing, and I would say the most complicated thing because the problem I think everywhere is, you go to clubs or you go somewhere and you have, for us, for example, in Arizona, there's maybe 20, 30 arm wrestlers, different levels, and there's everybody's telling you different advice. It's so much information, and it's hard to get like an elite level like you to know exactly, how to train the correct way because everybody's giving you advice. So for the training, let's get into it. So, in a week, how often do you do the arm wrestling specific training? So just
So
handle so in a week.
it was as you are saying that 20, 30 people are telling you different things. It was the same with me when
Okay.
I started, but we were only from here. I mean, only from my club, at least 10 opinions about my trainings.
Yeah.
So at one point, I was so distracted. I try to do each exercise whoever tells me, but the program is different. I mean, one
Yes.
person tell me to do more reps, other person tell me not to lift at toe weights, just to do arm wrestling. The other person tells me you should do like a pyramid system um, until the maximum, can remove 20% and so on. So I decided exactly this program. I started like when I don't have competitions, I do like uh, twice a week table time sparring,
Twice a week. Okay.
twice a week. Yeah. The other days I lifted. I had one day just to do pull-ups and it's like more running, basic physical body training. I mean, pull-ups, dips, over there, exercises like this. I also couldn't train at my maximum each day because for a normal person, even if you try, you you see after 1 week you'll be very tired. So back then when I did 1 week good training, and the next week when I tried to do the maximum again, and I couldn't. I even did worse results. So this is because of my rehabilitation. I didn't take supplements and so on. The food quality is not so good in Bulgaria. Depends from where you buy it. And back then, I was like in high school. You know how it is. You don't have money for anything.
Yeah.
Even for food, you always make compromises with things. So I could do like good training 1 week. The next week is total shit,
Yeah.
and after 1 week, I can again cover up my maximum achievements at the exercises. So the specific exercises, in my opinion, the specific exercises back then there was very difficult to find rubber bands. So it was years ago. I mean, in the dinosaur times. So those like specific uh, exercises we did like how to say once a week. We did those
Once a week.
specifics.
Okay.
Yeah. But meanwhile, your body is destroyed from the other trainings.
Right, because the two table
Yeah.
practices, it's destroying you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, when you said the supplements, so that's something I wanted to ask you about. Like, so when you're talking about supplements, you talking about like what, like a fish oil, vitamin C. Like, what are kind of like
Yeah.
all supplements that you take to help you recover now?
Right now, I take only like omega 3 and vitamin C. I don't take almost anything because now I have fats. I'm 95 kilos. I don't train so much. I only go a couple of times in this week. I even didn't go to run, but usually I go to run a little bit, like 2 kilometers, not every day, but 1 2 days a week. Right at this moment, I have other how to say things in my life that are happening.
Of course, yeah.
But usually, before I used to take a lot of amino. I even drink a lot of carbo, a lot of carbs,
Carbs, okay.
because when many people saw me at the competitions, I go with one big bottle of water with purple, yellow
Yeah,
liquid inside, and I just drink little bit, leave it, drink little bit, leave it. Uh, I used to drink a lot of carbohydrates with amino acids on
okay.
competitions. This is the thing that used to help me back then, because I think I didn't have enough body fats back then. But I have friends that I told them about those carbohydrates. They tried it, and they were sick.
Oh wow,
they
okay,
felt they felt terrible from them. So each body have different needs.
okay.
They're not two completely uh, entire the same bodies for arm wrestlers. So what is good for me, maybe it's not good for you,
Yeah,
and for others.
that makes sense. So
So
like
I
your
cannot
shape
give
now.
correct like example what to take when you train. Each person have different needs. That's what my point was.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so right now you said you're in the 90-95 kilo, which is about 20 kilos more than where you normally compete, which makes sense.
Oh,
So
no. Usually I competed like last time I did
yeah.
at 90.
Oh,
So
90. Okay.
yeah, with 2021 I was 90 kilo when I put at European World Championship.
Okay.
So
Got it.
5 kilos more
Yeah.
for 3 years. Four.
Okay. And how do you compare like your shape now? When I say shape, I'm talking about like arm wrestling, because it's hard to as you know, like compare how strong you are now versus how strong are you in the back in the day. Like your lifts right now that you're doing, on the table and with the weights. How do you compare your shape now versus your prime shape, your best ever?
So don't make this mistake to compare lifting weights with
Okay.
your arm wrestling shape. These two completely different things.
Yeah.
During the years when I used to lift the highest weights, I wasn't so strong at the table. I mean,
Oh,
many
okay.
people could beat me because when you when you gain too much power from the weights, you lose a lot of technique at the table. So it's not very wise to compare one shape and other shape. I mean, table shape is one thing, lifting weights is other thing. Maybe in general, now I'm weaker than before
Okay.
at the table and not weights as well. I say maybe because I changed my focus in the last 2 years. I dislike organizing camps, organizing competitions in Bulgaria. I did mostly organization work for the last two years. And now we even try to find a solution about the problem in Bulgaria, but we see much resistance in some of the people in the sport.
Yeah.
So now my focus is mostly on organization things about the sports, and if I can help the sport to develop more in Bulgaria, not so much like my personal arm wrestling shape.
Yeah, because that's what motivates you now is helping others, helping your juniors. You know, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said, yeah,
And
our
to be
motivation
honest,
changes in life as
to
we
be
get
honest,
older.
it's super difficult. I mean, I prefer to compete than to watch my juniors compete and just stay in the crowd and be nervous about them.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And
Because
yeah,
it's terrible, really, it's terrible. You
now,
just stay and you shake, you
yeah,
only watch, nothing is up to you.
yeah, yeah, no
Yeah,
control.
no
Now,
control.
so compared to your prime, so right now you said so two table times per week. One time a week you do the table specific exercises. So back in your prime, when you were competing at the highest level, was it still two times a week table, once table, or was it different?
So in the winter, it was like this twice a week. But before competitions, we gather a lot of Bulgarians and we do every day table time. Every day.
Every day. Okay.
Yeah, at the third day, you just wanna die because the pain in the, well, not only in the arms but in the whole body is terrible. You know, competitors like Krasi, like Tsonev, like Sashu, and many other Bulgarians, they even train sometimes 3 times per day
Yeah. Wow.
table time. I mean, but they work with the percentages of the pulling at the table.
Right.
With me, it's not like this. With me, mostly once a day table practice. And back then, a lot of Bulgarians that we pull at World, for example, we gathered and we did every day as much as we can. Owen, I mean.
Yeah. So that Bulgarian system, because yeah, you're right. I mean, I've seen interviews with Crossy, Jordan Sonov, and they're talking about every single day they're pooling, two, three times a day. So that's that Bulgarian system. Now, like
Yeah.
you said, it's they're working on different percentages throughout the day, maybe 10, 20%. How do you even recover from that? Like, how are they like recovering? Is it
Well,
their system is
I,
just used to it?
to be honest, I didn't really try this system because I cannot. I back then I couldn't work on those percentages because they did, for example, the morning training. They do it like easy training, like it's never for the win. This kind of training.
Yeah.
It's only, for example, you start with the opponent, you grip, you put you put a little bit of pressure here, a little bit of here, then here again. You stop. After 5 minutes, again and again, but you don't put maximum efforts. You put like only 30% effort or something like this. The next training, for example, at noon, you go like 50%. You do the same things with rest, with everything, but 50%. In the evening training, you do maximum, and then you can do one more like soft training. But I was never capable of doing something like this because every time I couldn't control myself and I pushed more,
Yeah.
which is a
Yeah.
problem. And your arms started to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So at one point you cannot even stand at the table. You cannot stand anywhere. You just start like doing things like this because
You're
the
not
pain is too
recovering.
big. Yeah. So I did like once a day, every day, for 1 week. In my opinion, each person can do it. Every day,
Once.
once a week, table time. I think each person can do it. To be honest,
So when
for
you're
one
doing
week.
once per day, because I mean that's a lot. Even like so, for example, we're in the United States, Arizona. We usually do once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, but once a week is pretty much what we do. And now, when you did it once a day with your training partners, were you 50%, 60% training, 90% or
Oh,
less?
I tried like my best to be honest,
Also, one hundred
because
percent every day.
there many guys with different shape. For
Yes,
example, we have big guys that are super strong that crush us. We have guys on our, for example, at my level, guys that are weaker and so on. So, for example, the guy. Oh, sorry, someone
that's
called me.
okay.
For example, the one that is strongest. Uh, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear
Что за
you.
преба?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Да, я не мислам.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Plamen? Okay, looks like a connection or something. Let me send him a quick message. Okay, looks like he's back at the stream.
Sorry, someone called
That's
me on the
okay.
phone. I apologize. So I wanted to say that, for example, there's a person that's way stronger than me, and we train together. His efforts are less than my efforts.
Yes.
So for him, the recovery will be better because he didn't put his maximum. For example, I am weaker. I'm trying my best to win over him, and I put much more efforts. So I need a better recovery than him. But this is also better for me if he's stronger
Yes.
because I need to catch up. I push myself more and more. And maybe about those trainings 2 or 3 times per day. If you train with weaker opponents, it would be easier for you. But
Yeah.
if you train like with someone stronger, the rehabilitation, the recovery will be more difficult.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the stronger guy, so that makes sense because we have a lot of veterans that say the same thing is the guy that's stronger, he's doing more holding. The weaker guy is going 100%. So
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
that's stronger, it's better for them to kind of hold, these spots here, or is it better for the stronger guy to just pin the weaker guy? Well, what are your thoughts on that?
Again, it depends from the style itself. Because, for example, my style is I don't use so much my tendons. I use mostly muscle, and
Yeah,
for the top row technique, I mean, in my opinion, it is the majority is about the technique itself.
got it. And then when
Yeah.
you train, when you're on the table, are you 100% on the table? You're always with your partners, always training top roll. Do you ever
No, no.
train hook?
Yeah, I do train hook, but it's not my strong part, to
Okay.
be honest. Most likely, I can say it in this way. It's better for me if I have like a partner that is a hooker,
Yeah.
because in this way I can even develop my top row, because I will get used to a hooker guy against me. In competition, it will be better for me, because at competition, if I go against a hooker, if I train only with a guy that's a top rower, I will feel uncomfortable at the competition. I mean,
Yeah. That makes sense. So with your style, and we'll get into like your top roll, but just a question here from the legendary Balkan. He has a question on like the hand size. So for you, you're a top roller with a smaller hand. So
yeah.
what techniques or what do you use on the table in a competition against someone that has a much bigger hand? What do you do?
Um, so again, it depends if this opponent is like a hooker or a top
Right.
rower. Or,
The different. Okay.
but most of the times, my technique is I go like Let me get some good angle so I can show.
Yes.
I guess. So when I go against a, a top rower, it's good for me. I let go a little bit of my shoulder below. I try to go as just as possible, and then my wrist is not like this. It's high as possible, and then I try to gain this leverage first before my opponent. Because when I gain this leverage, I gain a lot more power than my opponent. If I am capable of doing like this, my opponent most likely will be like this. So he will lose the fingers, the wrists, a little bit of the rotation, and he needs at least 20% more power to beat me. I mean, it becomes very difficult for him.
And then what
So
about against the
those
hooker?
against a hooker, yeah, like those are basic things that most of the people know it. With me
The low
personally,
hand?
I cannot let go my wrist like this. Most of the competitors, like if they are against a hooker, they go let go a little bit of the wrist
Yeah.
below. They put very good pressure with the chest, and they do like this low hand top rope.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with me, it's not like this because I'm not used to train with my wrist like this. I'm used only with a high wrist. So again, I go in the same direction as I used to do in because I have trained in this way and not
Yeah.
competition. It's difficult to do it otherwise.
Yeah. That makes sense. And so, would you say, like, for example, I know you had your match 8 months ago against Mario Tambakis, and
Yeah.
yeah, I watched that one a couple of times. So that was you lost on fouls on that one. What would you change? How was your preparation for that match? Because you were using, kind of the same style on every round. Like, would you change something in that match, or what happened?
Well, it was complete disaster this competition for me, to be honest, because I don't want to put some excuses on me. Mario was perfect. I got sick. I got problems with the tendon. I didn't
Oh,
have middle at all. I didn't have any middle. It was a big. Um, I was disappointed from myself because I didn't have this.
yeah, a little side.
I had zero middle. I had
Oh,
only a little bit of this here, and he was actually he had like this power from the body, you know. He didn't need so much the wrist because his arm was big and everything. And when he stay like more in the this part of the
yeah,
elbow pad, and it's most likely that I went outside as I did because the elbow pad just finished.
yeah,
mostly, mostly I would I would change in the trainings the part where I would have make the my sparring partner to curl me more, to hook me more.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, let me ask you this. So I know you don't, of course, max out all the time. Like, what would you say, like right now? Last time you checked, like, what are your numbers in kilos? Like your maxes on your back pressure, side pressure, cupping,
Um,
on some of those lifts.
Probably they are not. Before my maximum was with this handlebar, for example, about
Yeah,
with this handle. I used to pull here at this exercise. The weights are real. I mean, it
yeah,
goes from two. What was the word? Forgot. It goes from two spinners, but the weight is real. So
yeah,
with this type of handle, I used to lift like with two arms. I mean, for the back pressure with both arms, I used to do like 150. After this, I changed to
150
this one.
kilos.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
After this, I changed to the small grip
Okay.
one, and I could have go like around 200, 220 difference. 200,
That's
220 maybe.
pulling this to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are some videos in YouTube, but I couldn't do this exercise uh, recently because of this problem with the tendon I have in the right arm.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to find a way to heal it somehow.
So
Well,
that
left arm is okay.
so that exercise that you do, just so kind of everybody understands it. So because you said you don't do a lot of pronation, that the importance of this right here, you do it a lot. Is it because you want to stay, you want to be strong, staying tight here on the table so nobody can move you?
No,
Is
no,
that the
no. It's more likely because this have those it's a fat grip,
okay?
and I cannot like close my fingers like on this one. You see,
Okay, yes.
it's not like I'm closing my fingers. This is way easier. I use mostly fat grips where I cannot close my fingers, and the weight goes on the tip of my fingerprint, like
Okay,
here. And I try to squeeze as much as possible so I can have strong fingers. If I have strong fingers, I have the strong grip. If I have the better grip, maybe I'm better at the table. Most
okay.
likely I will be if I have the better grip. It's not about this angle here. It's not about it. It's only about the
Finger.
strength in the arm.
Okay. So what you're
Yeah.
saying, okay, so let me make sure I understand it because I think I got it. So the reason why you train for you with a bigger kind of an open handle because you have a smaller hand than your opponents.
Yes.
When you're grabbing your opponents, you're not grabbing them here. It's more right here. So you're training more of the strength of these fingertips so you can be
Yeah,
strong there.
mostly the fingertips,
Yeah. So
mostly here.
it's right here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you think so for you the most important exercise is gaining strength in these right here, these fingertips.
I cannot say the most
Oh
important.
yeah,
I
of
mean,
course. I mean one of the
all
most
of the
important,
all of the exercises are important.
of course.
And each time we try to develop more and more. I mean, maybe one of my favorite exercises was the hammer curls.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this was one of my favorites back then because I heard a story. There was one guy that used to train here in our club. He was not arm wrestler, but just like a fan of the sport. And I was a junior, and he told me, you know what? Each day after the training, it's done back in the days, used to do this exercise, the hammer curls.
Yeah.
He said each day after his training, he did like 5 or 6 sets more of these exercises. So I started doing this every day as well because I heard I was junior. And maybe this was one of my favorite exercises, to be honest.
Yeah. So on your back pressure, when you're testing your back pressure, if it's on the table or from the floor, how much weight are you doing now with your back pressure? With let's say like a karate belt going through here.
You mean like, just a
Yeah, like right
moment.
here.
You mean like with such belts?
Yeah, like so
Like,
back pressure this way.
oh,
How
this
much
way.
how much weight do you do?
I mean, it very much depends if it goes from here, this way, or from here.
Right, the riser. Yeah, of course, different. So how
It's
much do you do on each?
it's I don't know, to be honest,
Okay.
because each time I do it like in different way. For example, I prefer to do it like from here. I mean, when I do this exercise. But sometimes when I have this big pain, I even do it like more on the wrist, to be honest,
Okay.
because I cannot, at least with the right arm, with the left is okay. So I mean, it depends very much if it's from where it does it
Yeah.
come. Also about the angle, it's from here.
Yeah.
Most of the people do it like from here, in this angle.
Yeah.
It's, in my opinion, it have huge difference because when we watch, for example, how Arad do it, he does it in one way. Most of the people do it in another way, but
Yeah. Because a lot of them are doing that
it
90
becomes different
degrees.
type of.
You know
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So do
Yeah.
you think? So do you think like the Devin Laird, the 90 degrees, because he's doing 90 degrees on, on everything. Do you think the 90 degrees is the right way to train, or is it better to be, kind of training tighter? What do you
Yeah,
think?
but this is when you do it like 90 degrees, it's more like static, right? You just lift it with statically,
Right, your
right?
body. Yeah.
Yeah. For example, as I said before, I prefer to do full moves of the body.
Okay, so you're more full range.
Yeah, full range.
Okay.
This is only my opinion, because static should be done in how to say, in the correct time of the when you train for static. Then I agree. You can hold to 90 degrees super heavy. But it's different type of training. I mean, you can do static, for example, at 2 weeks or three, not every day.
Okay, so every 2 3 weeks. The
Yeah,
other
something
time
like
it's
this.
more full range reps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so let me ask you too. So, like for your top role, you said the because everybody pronation, pronation, pronation. So you don't train a lot of pronation, is that right?
Yeah, I don't do, to be honest, so much pronation.
How many times in a month do you train pronation?
I mean, we warm up with the pronation if you count the table practices, because at table practice you use it as
Sure.
well.
It's always engaged. Yeah.
Yeah, it's engaged. So probably at least couple of times a week, at least.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're still doing the pronation because I see. So during the table time, it's because your engage your pronation is engaged. You're always training it. So why
Yeah, yeah.
train it on the weights? That makes perfect sense. Now, so your style of the back pressure and high up. Do you train when you're training your pronation? Do you do the for example? Let me move my phone here. Do you do for example you got through the thumb, through the hand, and then what through
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do you
Uh,
train all three of them?
yeah, even more. I mean, we have this like wood stick. So I use it with the rubber bands in all kinds sorts of training.
So you're talking about this one right here, right? Oh,
It's amazing in the garage. So yeah, you can say it's the same thing. It's the
yeah.
same thing.
Okay.
So you can train with whatever you have. Pretty, how to say,
Oh, the cupping. I see.
you. The good part in our sport is that you can improvise. For
Yeah.
example, if you don't have money to buy this handle from shop, you can make it in your garage. You can cut a wood and make it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do all of those exercises, to be honest.
So you do all of them. What about because now there's so many handles? Let me ask you about this one right here. So this is the Mazarenko. So from here, do you train this? Is this important?
I don't. I mean, I do those exercises, but I mean, mostly for in the days when for specific training, when I cannot do like heavy weights, like when I cannot go at maximum training.
So more volume.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I
Okay.
need like just recovery from all of the other exercises. Then I do those.
So let me ask you. So, like, I have some more handles here. I know different people use different ones. So this wrist max
Yeah.
here, this is more for the fingers. What do you think of this handle? Is this one important to train? Do you train it?
I don't have like this. I have one to be honest, but again, it depends because we go to the sizes of the arm of the person. Uh, so, for example, if I made some experiments with my juniors, so there it is. First, it depends where does it go from which points, to be honest. Then it matters how far did you put your arm into it?
Yeah.
Because in this case, my tip of the fingers are on top of the where it rotates, right? So if it's someone with big arm, he can grip it until here.
Yeah.
And then it is different exercise. So to be honest, in my opinion, it's not necessary to have so many different handles. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't need them. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's good to have them, to use them for to change them. I mean, one day with one handle, the next time with the other, to have some different kind of um, pressure in your arm
Yeah. Now,
because the different.
when you're training with this one, do you do more of, kind of the reps, or is it more of heavyweight going back, or are you doing both?
I don't have like this exact handle. Most of the
Okay.
handles here we made by ourselves. So yeah, probably depends from the period of training. If I need to do like a maximum or if I need to do like more reps.
Okay. So you're
So
definitely
both
doing
both
both.
options are good. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And then, so let me look at my questions here. So, like, for you, like, very important also, like, how do you recover from the from arm wrestling, because you're training twice a week on the table? How are you recovering? Are you doing bands, volume work, like Devin, or how are you
So
recovering?
every competitor has been there with this alpha pain, and when you have it, it's better if you start pumping blood. You need
Okay.
this blood flow to go through your body. You can go to run if your arms are so sore that you cannot lift anything. Otherwise, lightweight and more reps as much as possible.
Okay. So just to
Yeah.
get blood in there. Okay. So that's the same thing. Everybody says, okay. Now, let me ask you too. So, have you had any injuries throughout your 17 years, and how did you recover from that?
Yeah, I had like herniatic disc problems. The doctor forbid me to lift more than 10 kilos. It was, I think, in 2016. After this, I beat all my personal records
Wow.
at
What did you
lifting.
hurt? Where did you get injured?
It's herniatic disc. It's like in the back, in the spine.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah.
herniated disc. Okay.
So I have like three hernias in my back or
Oh,
something like
wow.
this. Yeah. It's normal. I mean, it can happen to everyone, even if I'm not a competitor, even
Yeah.
if I'm a chess player in the park. It could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
I met one guy, he was like a coach of weightlifters in a nearby city, and he said, "Oh, this is totally crap. Don't listen to this doctor. Do those exercises. So each, not every day, but at least couple of times in the week, I try to do some exercises to make my back feel better, and I don't have problems. About the arms, I cannot fully stretch my left arm. I have like
Oh,
I have this how do you say it?
Yeah. Devin.
Elbow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not so bad. I mean, it's only like this big.
Yeah. Hey, you know what
Different
that means? That
perspective.
means it's time for you to start doing the King's move, the
Yeah, probably. But
the
but
boat
the
the
press
boat
is not
lock.
good with me.
You know,
I can,
you're gonna have the Statue of Liberty.
yeah, but I don't have this press move. I can do only the open top row and then I
Yeah.
finish.
What do you think about the like the King's move with Michael Todd and Devin? And I'm not when I say King's move, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about like when they're, you know, all the way stretched out, that bone lock.
Sometimes,
What do you think?
I mean, sometimes it's get ugly.
Yeah.
There should be some limit, but after all, there are some rules. If they go with the rules, it's
Then you're
okay.
okay with it. Okay, as long as
Yeah,
you're within the
if
rules.
everything is by the rules, it's okay. If it's not by the rules, I don't see what more can we comment about this.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, so let me ask you. So you've been doing it for 17 years. Obviously, you learned a lot. You trained with the best. You competed with the best. You know, what's your advice to like beginner arm wrestlers that are under 3 years, and then medium arm wrestlers that are 3 to 5 years, and then also for someone that's kind of over 5 years to 10 year mark? Like, what's your advice? Is it different or
My advice, so about the beginners, most of the beginners, maybe you saw it by yourself or the other people. Most of the beginners, they like stop too quick because in arm
yeah,
wrestling, they expect with minimal efforts to have maximum results. Most of the people think it's a fast process, but arm wrestling is very slow process. I mean, for example, with me, it was like, I don't know, 10 years. I needed 10 years to win a world title or something like this. And most of the people think couple of months, I'll go, I will beat those guys at that competition and I'll, I'll
yeah.
finish. And those guys finish really fast because when they go, they lose and they lose motivation. But they should gain the motivation and they should try to find the mistakes in themselves, I mean, and they should be more patient and go to as much as competition as possible. About the other type of people that are longer in the sports, I think they should be more involved in helping the sport grow
Okay.
and helping others as well, because after all, our wrestling is a very small community. And now with this scandal, wow, FIFA, it's even worse because from small community, it's a small community that argue
Yeah.
with each other. So about those people, I really think the biggest focus should be on developing of the sports. I mean, this can include helping newers in the sport or making a competition, making competition in high school or whatever, just to help the sports at local, and maybe in time the sport will be super um, on different level. I mean,
Yeah.
it,
Because like you're talking about, your motivation over the time it changes, and
yeah, it changes.
because arm wrestling, we talk about it all the time. This training, it can get very boring when you're doing the same thing over and over again. So to get that motivation back, it's help your community, help your team get better. That makes a lot of sense for me. So appreciate that. Now let's get into like your specific top roll, because your top roll is a lot different than everybody else. It's more the back
Yeah.
pressure, attacking fingers. Um, like when did you like who came up with that style? Because you've been using it for a long time. Like where did you learn that?
So basically, in the beginning, it was like I watched competitors as Tsvetan, Gashevsky. I mean,
Yes.
I watch a lot of Stoyan Guleman videos. I watch I had like my idols in the sport. You know, each junior have his own idol. Uh, in the soccer, you know, most of the children have their favorite soccer player. It was the same with me, but with arm wrestling. So I started watching two, three people. Meanwhile, when I came here, one of the guys that started to speak to me, he said, "Listen, boy, um, the smartest technique in our sport is the top row. So mostly playing top row because it's more intelligent game. Your arms will be okay, and really for so many years, I almost don't have any problems with arms. So many years without any injuries or without some serious injuries. So when I started watching Stoyan and Svetan, I wanted to be just like them,
Yeah.
but in the end, it was something completely different. It turned out my game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, for
Yeah.
your top pro, so let me ask you because I noticed when you top pro, you're doing the kind of the same style. Have you tried, or what do you think about the other top roll styles? Like for example, like the one that Travis Bajan uses, where he's kind of super high up, and I mean, you already your back pressure is very strong anyway. Like, have you tried like the different top roll styles, and do they just not work based on like your height, your hand length? Like, have you like what are your thoughts on that?
Mm, well, I didn't understand completely. Have I tried to top pro in which way?
Yeah, like the other styles where like right now, like you're low on the table, you're more here. Have you tried like standing high on the table? The
And
other
that doesn't make any sense. It's more like those people that do it, they actually they're better in hook. I mean, their powers in the hook. It's like more, and they go in the top row. Or
yeah. Well, it's like the Travis Bajan where he's standing high, where he's still top rolling, but he's instead of going all the way back, he's more of from here versus going back. And like, what do you think
mm,
about that style?
I think it's for example, Travis Bajan's a competitor that can play everywhere. I
Okay.
mean, he can play in hook, he can play in top row, he can play in press. He, at one point, if you are number one in the world in your weight category or doesn't matter, I think you should be able to you should be able to pull everywhere. I
Yeah.
think I'm not that high level athlete, to be
Oh
honest.
wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're being very honest with yourself. So that makes sense. So let me ask you kind of a couple of last questions. I'm gonna let you go.
Hmm?
Uh, what do you like? So 17 years in the sport. Like, if you had to go back in the day, like, is there anything that you would change in what you did and how you trained or anything like that?
Mm, maybe maybe I would go through the same roads.
Okay.
Even maybe I would push myself even more, to be honest. Maybe the same things, but even more. And I feel like I didn't do enough even now. It's
Yeah,
strange.
it's the motivation, like you said. It's very difficult when you can't
Yeah.
with this IFA and the WAF crap that's going on. It's hard to find competition and it's hard to stay motivated if you're not. The whole point of arm wrestling is to compete, and
And to meet new people, because the best part of our sports is that this is one super intelligent sport, and you go at the table, you're enemies. After the table, doesn't matter who will win. In the end of the day, you have a new friend.
yeah,
You can go eat, drink together. You start to speak about things in life. I mean, I made super much friends from arm wrestling. super much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Arm wrestling is very nice sport.
Yeah, it's a great community. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody loves the same thing. That's good. And have you ever tried? So I know, like in Europe, he's getting big right now. Lion Pride. They have a competition. I know. What's his name competed in it. Have you tried to compete there? So it's called Lion Pride.
I am not allowed to compete there
Oh,
for
so
now.
even
Yeah.
oh wow, so even WAF has power over them too. Wow, okay.
I mean, couple of times I went to some competitions during those 2 years, and there were some problems about the organizer. They got phone calls and so on and
Yeah,
threatened. It's not nice. It's not nice because again, our sport is very small. I hope that we will clear those things out because maybe mostly Bulgarians fault this problem. Maybe it's mostly Bulgarians' fault, to be honest. And I hope we will find a way to solve things out.
yeah. And hopefully one day. I mean, is there? Because I know for Bulgarians, Tsvetan Gashevsky is kind of your, like your
So,
is he like your representative, or do you guys are you going through lawyers with that stuff, or is it just Tsvetan that's handling that stuff with WAF?
um, so not exactly. Tsvetan is our first very good, very successful competitor in Bulgaria. Everyone who knows about arm wrestling in Bulgaria,
Of course.
he knows about Svetan, to be honest,
Yeah.
because he was the first one, and for many years, not the first one, but the first one very good, and for many years it was like this. They know him from TV, from everywhere, so he's not. He didn't agree about many things that happened during the years in the Bulgarian Federation. Um, I don't want to go
Yeah,
in
yeah, don't, yeah,
much
yeah.
details.
Of
I
course,
don't
yeah.
think
This is not, yeah,
there.
and
It's
I don't
just
want
like
you to. That's complicated stuff.
there. I got a phone call from one journalist, a local one. It's a funny story, and she asked me, "Plamen, what's happening? Why don't you compete anymore?" And I answered, "In the world, there are two reasons why war begin, why wars occur. One is money, other is women.
Yeah,
We don't have money, we don't have women.
yeah. So why?
we
Why?
started and we started to fight with each other. I mean, competitors, and this journalist started to laugh at me, and I said that this is the truth itself. I know it's funny, but this is what happens. We are idiots. I mean, I'm sure we could have find a way to solve the things out, but we couldn't back then. Before 2 3 years, I hope we'll find a way in the future.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like I said, it's
I'm positive
complicated.
about those things. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure we can find a way to
yeah,
to develop even more the sport.
100%. Now let me ask you. So, who do you think? Hermes has any chance to beat Levon? What do you think?
Uh, yeah, I think so.
Or you think he's got a chance? Okay.
Yeah, of course he have a chance. I met Hermes in 2009. I met him during the years many times, and we are friends with him. I think he have a very good chance. It would
Yeah.
be
Okay.
interesting match to be honest, but I cannot predict who will win. I cannot. I mean, Levan
Okay.
is from another planet, to be honest.
Yeah, he is.
He's
He's an alien. They sent him
he's an
here to beat
alien,
everybody.
but Hermes is also very big, very strong.
Yeah, he's gotten
Everyone
a lot
saw last
stronger.
time when they met what happens. It would be interesting for sure, and
Right.
it would be even nicer if this match got like more the attention of medias and TVs and so on.
Yeah, this is a huge match.
It would be very nice if there was a way that the world to know more. about that match.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Plummen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're training. I just want to say, man, thank you very much again for taking the time to do this interview with me. I learned a lot from you, and it would be great if whenever you have a future time, we'll chat. Love to do this again with you. Maybe do like a predictions on the East versus West and things like that. It would be great to speak to you again, but. Again, thank you for taking the time to
Thank you too.
be with me.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe the next conversation you can visit us here in our co-op. Who knows?
Yeah, hey, maybe in the future, because I would love to, like, just like we're doing now. I would love to meet like the juniors that you have to hear what those guys have to say, like how they're training and things like that. And maybe if we get those guys on camera, maybe that will help them, get more motivated,
Yeah.
get more matches, and things like that. I mean, the more stuff you do like this, the better it is for everybody, for the community.
Yeah, because maybe those children after 5, 10 years they'll be so good that no one
Yeah.
will remember about me or about Svetlana or about anyone. And who knows? Only time will show.
Yeah, man, because I think it's important. Let me just say this one last part. To me, it's very important to showcase people from all levels, even beginners. Like
Yeah.
to me, I see a lot of people you know, uh, just showcasing elites and stuff like that, the best of the best. To me, arm wrestling, from all levels, the sacrifices everybody has to make, the constant training, the injuries, the everything. Like it's important that, we show everybody out there, because everybody's important. Like you
Yeah, it
said,
is.
you never know that kid that's 15, 16 years old could be a
Mhm.
world champion in 10 years. And, it's important to speak to everybody. So, again, Plummet, thank you for taking the time today, man. And we'll chat again. Have a good rest of your Sunday, man.